YouTube, it's Tone. I'm back with another one for you, and this one is a new book actually. It's called the Court Survival Guide, and I don't even know who wrote it, to be honest with you. I find all this shit online. If you need this book, email me. It's free. It's on the house. A lot of really good information in here, so I'm gonna run through it briefly. This isn't always shit that I would do, but it's good. Information to take and make it yours. Throw it into a document, twist it. Add your information in it. Um, a lot of good stuff in here. So let's get into this real quick. So right here it says Court Survival Guide, important notices. So this survival guide is offered as educational material only and is by no means complete nor all-inclusive. There is a wealth of information here which can be applied to any case where a government agency is bringing a criminal action against a citizen, such as traffic and IRS cases. The information in total may or may not apply to you, and there will always be more details and knowledge which applies to your case, and you are obligated to collect as much information as there exists for your purposes from all sources. And that's a big thing too, is to make sure you cross-reference this information with other people's information, because sometimes people will just throw nonsense out there. Any information that I find relevant to the shit that to the things that I try to focus on and help people understand here. I'll always just grab it and make a video of it or something like that. It isn't always necessarily something that I would do, but it's something that may help you in a situation that you may be going through. So I'll go ahead and post it. So know that. So there are just too many parameters in the legal process to adequately cover all possible scenarios for a given situation in one manual. Hence, the guide is general at best and cannot be expected or held to suffice as legal advice as the level expected from licensed attorneys. And that's the thing too. You gotta keep in mind that a lot of people are going through a lot of documentation and books and codes and statutes, and they're circling and they're pointing out things that they're noticing. But it isn't always necessarily everything that's there for you to find. You can definitely find things on your own. But this helps a lot because they're getting right to the main points, the hard hitters, and that saves you a lot of time from having to flip open 1,000 books with 1,000,000 pages in them. That's just how they like to hide their shit. And I mean, it was pretty well played, right? The main advantage here, however, is that the guide tends to illuminate much of what the judges and attorneys do not want you to know. You can cut right to the chase if you want and eliminate considerable time and confusion to win your case. 2. If you have successfully followed the guidelines in this vehicle survival kit and the citation refusal kit, you may not need a court survival kit by virtue of not having to appear in court on some phony traffic charge. I don't really like going to court for none of that dumb shit, to be honest with you, and I just don't. So, I try my best to remain in honor and all that, but I mean, if you're gonna approach a situation and they're not following their own standard operating procedures to begin with, then how can you expect me to just go ahead and just follow those rules as well when you came into the game really backwards, if you will, what I'm saying, for lack of a better term. And you expect me to follow these rules, but you don't even follow these rules, or even the rules that you're supposed to follow to even get in a situation to freaking begin with. So I choose not to entertain a lot of it. A lot of it doesn't warrant a response, really, at all. So there is a lot to this guide because each case is different. However, you may focus on the easy and quick method, which requires only one court appearance. The rest of the guide covers other cases that have somehow slipped through the cracks. We get a lot of calls from people who first get themselves into traffic court, then decide to find out about. And that's the thing too, man. And that's just crazy. Like, don't email me when you got court in 3 days or a couple days from now, and you're trying to find the best way to fight your case after you dug your hole already. That shit is I don't even got time for that shit, to be honest with you. I focus mainly on the prevention of stupid situations like that taking place to begin with by dealing with the situation beforehand, right? And I I mean, I wouldn't even call it foresight, really. I mean, the reason why I think how I do is because of the shit that's happened to me in the past, right? So I'm able to deduce from the amount of times that I've had to deal with these motherfuckers that maybe I should get together a plan of when I deal with them again. So I, you know what I'm saying? So it isn't necessarily bad that I had to deal with them that many times, because it really just tells me that it took that many times for me to fucking take the lesson. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I took the lesson. I focus on the preventative bullshit, right, rather than literally going heads up with these people, especially when you already been fighting with them for over a year in court, and you expect me to just come with some magic bullet at the end of the day and whip it up for you in 3 days. That shit doesn't work like that at all. So if you can hear me, I highly advise you to get your contracts in place already, to already have your contracts in place. Okay, so the fact that you have obtained this guide suggests that something has gone awry in your path of sovereignty. So either you have not been able, and so look, so what I just missed too in number 4, it says that, so we get a lot of calls from people who first get themselves into traffic court and then decide to find out about sovereignty, i.e. the cart before the horse, which is whatever. So we have published this guide to offer help with these cases as well. So apparently in this case, if you guys need this document, email me, I'll send it to you for free. And but I'm gonna run through this whole document probably in the next week or so. I should have this done and posted up on the page. So it should be able to help you with all that shit too. All right. So the fact that you have obtained this guide suggests that something has gone awry in your path of sovereignty. Either you have not been able or allowed to follow the procedures which keep you out of court, such as in the vehicle survival kit or the citation refusal kit, or someone you know has managed to get into a jam before establishing your sovereignty. This guide addresses cases such as these to help empower the people who are coming from an obviously disadvantaged legal position, and there is no completely foolproof technique of a way to beat the system. So here we are attempting to improve the odds considerably. And that's the thing too, that you got to keep in mind, that there is no silver bullet. The only real silver bullet is a silver bullet. All right, so, and you know, it comes down to how far you're trying to take it. You know what I'm saying? How far do you want to take it with these people? So ultimately, there is no silver bullet. Put it like that. All right. So it ultimately comes down to you changing as a person, and you're going to attract different circumstances in your life when you change, when you break out of that slave mentality. It's different. So what do we got here? Number 6, the purpose of the court survival kit is to help you effectively handle all court confrontation in which you risk losing more of your rights, money, freedom, and or poverty. It is assumed that you are somehow obliged to appear in the court for something, and you want to protect whatever rights you have left. The guide contains techniques that can help in any traffic case, tax, IRS case, or any case brought against you by a government agency. Number 7, although much of the information herein may also help in cases where you are the plaintiff prosecutor who has filed a common law suit against a public official, this guide is instead written from the perspective of defending yourself against a prosecutor who is going after you because of the charges that you know are inherently fraudulent. So number 8, if you really want to minimize the total risk and be done with your case ASAP, then you might consider you might consider just acting sorry or poor and plead guilty to the charges. You know, everybody's got choices, man. Let me just put it like that. All right, all of us got choices. So nobody can tell you what the best thing for you to do is. Only you know that. So only you know that. So right here, integrate yourself back into the oppressive system of traffic slave laws that put you in court to begin with. You will be expected or perhaps even ordered to abide by the rules of the system. You will lose the game by not standing up for your rights, but you will have minimized your immediate cost, financial and emotional. So in this guide, we assume that you want to win your case. If you haven't much to lose, then you have an advantage over the court, which has much more to lose than you do. And keep in mind that they're in the profit of making money. It's a for-profit business with shareholders and all that. So their bottom line is the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? We'll put it like that. So you go in there and you start costing them money and time, they're going to just get you out of their fucking head. They don't want to deal with that shit. So what I would do, probably show up with some tax documentation since it's a taxable event. You know what I'm saying? And see if they really want to pay the taxes on the credit that they use to create the value and charge of your case to begin with. Okay? So Number 9, keep your court survival guide in a safe place where you can easily get to it when you need to it. Wow, when you need to. Maintaining a complete kit is vital for showing up in court as fully prepared as you can possibly be. The survival guide is intentionally written as briefly as possible so that you can easily access and use it. Knowledge of the truth is a great tool here, but the more skillful you can apply it in court, the more empowered you will be. In any case that challenges your freedom, remember this is a situation in which the knowledge alone is not enough. You must also be able to perceive things as they are happening and think on your feet so that you will instantly know what options are yours to use when you have the opportunity. And that's the thing. You think these people are not... Look, come on, man. They already know what you're going to say before you even go in there. They had people on top of these whole movements to see what type of avenue you're going to be trying to take. Because it is a game of chess, and keep that in mind. I say that shit all the time. It really is a game of chess. All right? So they're going to expect you to say certain things, and they're going to try to throw you off the whole time. They're going to say shit that doesn't even make sense. They're going to say shit that isn't real. They're going to make shit up. They're going to fucking lie to you. Straight up, they're going to fucking lie to you in court. And they're going to see if you believe it or not. When you know who they are, or who they're not, and who you are, really, what the fuck are they gonna say to you? You know what I'm saying? So, just keep that in mind. They're always gonna try to throw you off. They're always going to try to throw you off. That's their whole game. They have nothing aside from that. They just tricks and lies and fucking smoke and mirrors and shit. It's like what they do. So, number 10, most important. Mere knowledge of these techniques and truths will not be enough. Just by mentioning such things in court will not of itself help you win a case. A piece of paper is not by itself an automatic shield. And that's what I'm telling you too. It's not that. It's you. It's you. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot depend on the court to police and correct itself. It's up to us. We the people to detect and demand correction of the court's errors and fraud. You must be able to think on your feet and stay on top of each argument as it comes down so that you can logically steer the judge into a corner. You will be going head to head with judges who are very slippery and who may be ignorant as to the real law and how fraudulent their system of supposed quote-unquote justice is. You will have to do your own homework. And that shit is key. Don't go in there thinking that because you got one little piece of paper that you just won the case. And shit, even if you're 100% correct and you did win the case legally, even on paper, they're gonna fucking pretend that they didn't see that. You kidding me? Think about who you're dealing with. They're gonna just come out and just be like, oh, you know what? You got me. Absolutely not. Plausible deniability is their only fucking shield, and that's all that they have. So don't expect them to ever come out and be like, oh yeah, you know what? You got that one, bro. Absolutely not. Will never fucking happen. So you're dealing with these type of people. I don't like dealing with these type of people. I deal with them differently. So the flag. Your complete court survival kit consists of 0, the flag. You provide a small U.S. flag on the stand, but no go. I don't walk into court with a fucking flag, but I do bring all of my documentation that I have filed, like my UCC1 financing statement. Affidavit of sovereignty. I've got some 1099 documents that I keep with me if they really want to take it public. You know what I'm saying? I got a few different things and some things that I'm going to be adding to it too as well. So a flag, no, but probably the equivalent would be a contract, which is what I keep on me. Okay. So what do we got here? So a small U.S. flag on a stand, but no gold. So what they're saying is bring a little flag with a pole with you and shit. I mean, you can. Because if not, you're going to be under their jurisdiction, and you know that their flag has a gold fringe on it. So this is your basic proof and exercise of your status and rights in court. You would bring it with you and set it on each table or bench where you stand, wherever you are going to directly challenge the jurisdiction. Your personal number 1, your personal licensed court recorder. A transcriptionist, highly recommended. You must make sure that all of the court conversations are recorded without risk of being erased by the judge so that the evidence which floats to the surface can never be denied. Bring your own rather than relying upon the court to preserve the truth. If this is not possible, make sure you bring people with you as your witnesses. Preferably 2, okay? So 2 legal counselors, not licensed attorneys. These are your personal helpers or counselors to sit behind you in the courtroom to help you stay aware of the record, what's happening on your and your options while you're dealing with your emotions. More is better. Number 3, true copy of original paperwork. All legal documents or evidence you can find which relate to your case status. Tickets, receipts, depositions, invoices, notices, letters, warrants, names, dates, places, etc. Bring all that shit with you. Bring all that shit with you. Number 4, copy of all relevant laws that apply to your case. Photocopies of the statutes, codes, laws, and constitutions which back your position and defense. Number 5, court survival guide provided by FRP, pen and paper. Number 6. Number 7, pocket tape recorder. I don't think they let you bring those into all the courts, but probably the federal and state. I think you may be able to, but not in the district. You're not really going to be bringing in your phone because their whole court, if you even want to call it that shit is just it's a fucking free-for-all, bro. They do not want that shit recorded. I promise you that. So, pocket tape recorder for your own personal protection and cost savings, to be concealed and not to be used as admissible evidence. Use this as backup for your own licensed court recorder. So if you can get like a small one, probably bring that shit in. So representing yourself as a sovereign citizen. So you should represent yourself always in propria persona, that is your proper person. So this alone qualifies you as attorney in fact, according to Black's Law Dictionary. By asserting your sovereign right to represent yourself in legal matters, you are establishing your status as your own attorney without being misled, trapped, overcharged by a licensed, quote-unquote licensed defense attorney who would only bind you into the very system which is dedicated to making you pay in any way that they can. Energy, money, whatever, it's all the same to them. Like their whole job is to just hinder every possible mode of progress you could ever possibly have, and they do their job well. So you gotta be on your toes. So who would only bind you into the very system which is dedicated to making you pay? Do not hire a licensed attorney if you intend to keep your rights and your money. There is no law which requires anyone to hire an attorney. If anyone tries to intimidate you by denying you your rights, by asking you if you are an attorney, you can always reply, in fact, I am, because that would make you an attorney in fact. Right? So bring your flag with you wherever you appear in court to show your sovereignty by representing yourself. You are free to expose any of the fraudulent deceptions and procedures being used against you. Right? And you really think that they want to have that conversation in court? So the court can assign a public defender to you if you want to just pay some money. And the thing is that they can't have any of these real arguments raised in court on the record, because then they can no longer move forward with plausible deniability. So they would knowingly be committing criminal acts if they were to move forward after being notified of their actual criminal activity. You see what it is here? That's all that they have is their plausible deniability, because they literally can't operate and pretend and make a freaking admission to the fact that they know what's going on actually, because then they're pretty much sentencing that's a freaking admission of guilt right there. So in order to effectively represent yourself in your interests, your mission is to proceed in propria persona. This is what you must sign on every court document next to your name. This means that you are not only the legal counsel representing the defense, but you are also the accused whom you are representing in person. Do not represent yourself in any other way. This also means that, and also make sure that you get information regarding the cause and nature of this to begin with, so you know what your defense should look like. If it should be like this, or if you should just accept and close the matter publicly, civilly, privately, however you want to do it. But you definitely want to make sure that you understand what venue that you're operating in, so you know how to operate. So right here, what you must sign on every document next to your name, but do not represent yourself in any other way. This also means that the judge cannot lawfully hold you responsible for conducting yourself or your case as a licensed attorney, nor can he or she force you to hire one. You are free to proceed as you see fit as a sovereign citizen. Your legal counselor are just that, counselors, and there is no law preventing your friends from consulting with you during any of your court proceeding. Some judges and prosecutors will expect you to proceed pro se, and that's what they would love you to do, because then that's how the prosecutor even fucks with you to begin with. If you see, pro se is the first 5 letters of the word prosecutor, is pro se. Cuter? So what, they think that they're cuter or some shit? Nah, so their whole job is really to harass, charge, and tax anybody that goes in there as a pro se litigant. And I mean, litigate, you're talking about litigation, you're talking about back and forth in the legal system, you're talking about traverses, challenges. You're talking about a lot of dishonor. That's what you're talking about as a pro se. So like that's why you should probably never do that. So another method of representing yourself. Do not let this happen, because pro se means that you are legally representing yourself as your own attorney, which the court can then pervert to meaning that you can be told by the court how to proceed with your case, because they're going to act like you're a fucking bar member and then try to treat you like a private bar member after that. So a judge may try to impose the same standards upon you as are imposed on a licensed attorney. The court would be allowed to treat you as your own attorney differently than it would treat you as the accused. So don't let this happen. You will know when to declare your pro se, your proper status. So do not use pro se, okay? Using legal counselors. This is the single most helpful element of your survival in court. Some people have a natural ability as legal eagles to know the law and court procedures cold, and to argue law logic with the best of them and eventually win their case. Such people are born fighters and can masterfully. See what we got here. Two more slides here. And can massively find their opponent's weak spots and outwit them, many times by pure attrition. If you are one of these rare breed, you probably don't need any legal counselors with you in court. More power to you, and haven't helped the lawyers that get in your way. You know what I'm saying? So shit can get real out there, man. And you know, if you've ever had a conversation with any of these fake ass lawyers, you know how arrogant and cocky these motherfucking people are. Shit is crazy, to be honest with you. The level of arrogance is just fucking it's mind blowing, and with no proof. Because if they really had to prove what it is that they claim that they believe with every ounce of whatever they want to call that shit in their body, they could never prove that shit. Literally, if it was prove what it is that you claim, or jump off this cliff, or we're gonna push you off this cliff, yeah, you would be a pile of shit on the bottom of that cliff. Okay, so, however, most of us regular folks have made it to the point not to get involved with the legal details, not to learn about any court procedure, and to avoid anything to do with the legal system altogether. Let's face it, most of us have gladly left the boring and or offensive drudgery of the lawyers to stay out of the court. So it makes a lot of sense to keep the company of legal counselors and to have them around you in your time of need. It really pays to have extra opinions to be made aware of options when you need them. The fact is, the courtroom environment is naturally oppressive. It is, and I'm pretty sure that they wire it a certain way to have a certain frequency when you go in there too as well. Keep that in mind. So the fact is, the courtroom environment is naturally oppressive, intimidating, and humbling at best. And most people are sensitive to such an environment, to the point of dealing with more emotions than they need at the moment. So the purpose of your counselors who are worth their weight in gold is to keep the logical thinking process going, and to keep you aware of your legal options while you are conducting your defense, immersed in your own emotions. Although your own judgment may become occasionally cloudy and confused, what the counselors will be maintaining as much clearer understanding of the facts, the law, your rights, and they will be carefully watching the judge and prosecutor for signs and indicators. You will be able to pause the case at any time to confer with your counselors. The basic strategy in court appearances. We will always try to use the best, most effective, and direct strategy up front at the first court appearance so that the case is dismissed, i.e. we win, and we never have to go back. So the balance of this court survival guide applies only to the other cases that have slipped through the cracks. You guessed it, it's another game. No more, no less. Very much like poker. The stakes are essentially your freedom, money, and property. And that's the thing, too. Nobody's making these people put any of their shit on the line. It's just you. You go in there. There's fucking 5 people against you, and you're the only one that has any possibility of fucking losing here. Make them put their shit on the line. Put your fucking money where your mouth is. You guys talk a lot of crazy shit. Sound real confident. So put your money where your mouth is. So, and property versus the court's false authority and power over you, for lack of a better expression. Much of your power comes from invoking your common law rights, and since all have received sealed orders from the U.S. Attorney Generals to change over their Article 3 common law jurisdiction, you may soon not need to work so hard to retain your rights. Object of the game. to get out of the court system as soon as possible by getting the case dismissed or thrown out, and system is rife with glaring opportunities to do so. And it's true. I mean, every step along the way, you're going to find that they give you opportunities to get out, but you don't. So the longer you stay in the court system, the longer you are at risk and the more money you will lose. The judge's object is to convict you quickly and collect your money while maintaining the illusion of authority and power over you. The prosecutor's object is to prove the conviction that you are guilty of at any cost, even if they're lying, and make psychological examples of you to intimidate others. The players, you, the judge, the prosecutor, the jury, if any, the officer, and the other witnesses, if any, and your counselors. The judge and the prosecutor are both experienced players and extremely slippery. Neither can be trusted to tell the truth, and they will most assuredly give the impression that their words are the absolute truth. And the thing is that if anybody can say anything, if you don't say it's the truth, then it's just some shit that you're fucking saying. So under the penalty of perjury, and say that it's the fucking truth, and make them say that what they're saying is a fact. So in addition, you can depend on the prosecutor to be unfair, devious, fraudulent, and conniving in his or her efforts to win the game. Lawyers in general have absolutely no respect for the real law. That's what I was just telling you. They consider themselves to be smarter than people using their private exclusive membership in the Bar Association. Mind you, you don't got to be a fucking genius. And mind you, you don't even have to study law or go to fucking law school to become a bar member at all. All you got to do is pass the little fucking... it really just blows my mind where they get this cockiness from. This shit is crazy. But you know that they're 100% mind control because you couldn't get a person that was not under the mind control of somebody to do the shit that they're doing to everybody. All right, especially to their own people, if they're even fucking from here, to be honest with you. So, what do we got here? Association to manipulate court procedures. In order to steal money from others, just look in the phone book and see the disproportionate number of people in this profession versus the other professions in your area. And that's true. You would imagine by there being so many fucking lawyers and, legal helpers and things like that there would be just a place full of criminals. And I mean, in all reality, a lot of the real criminals ain't even in jail. They're wearing suits and they're sitting in office, to be real with you. So the playing field, you are in a rigged game. You are the visitor, and playing without the home field advantage, you can forget about truth and justice as these have been eliminated. The only way you will win is by embarrassing the court. This is a cash register court system with absolutely no vested interest in proving your innocence. They just want your money and your obedience to the rules which take your money. The deck is already stacked against you. Just by showing up and being there, you are already convicted. You know what I'm saying? Shit is crazy. So just by showing up there, you are already convicted and presumed to be guilty. You have already been treated as guilty by the arresting officer, and you have proven your guilt by signing the ticket. The judge and prosecutor are both playing together against you. They have both taken a secret oath to work as agents for the foreign banks in their efforts to maintain control over you and your money. The game is a minimum and will be interesting, challenging, and educational. So, playing the game. There are many strategies, tricks, maneuvers, and legal points to argue about that are good to know. Currently, we would have to go for the best strategy at the first appearance, getting a quick dismissal and avoid having to fall back on the rest of them. And how you play the game will affect how your opponents play and vice versa. Since their jurisdiction over you is conveniently implied by your unspoken consent, it must be challenged right up front so that you will be able to stand on the Constitution and maximize your chances of early dismissal. Otherwise, very few of your other strategies will work. Not all of the factors will come into play in every court appearance, especially in the initial stages of your case. Some of these rules apply to some hearings, and some will apply to others, as you will see. But here are some basics that you should understand for any court appearance. And this is the last slide. I'm gonna get into the rest in the next slide. So zero rights. I mean number zero, not zero rights. So which they will try to treat you out of. There are some of your rights that are good things to know in general. The lower courts do not recognize most of them since they are not common law courts. To argue most of the constitutional rights, you will need to appeal to a higher court or district court. Depending on how far into your case you get, you may wish to address a few of these things. And that's the thing, too. You could ask to have it moved into a court of record and things like that, too. Because, like I said, I mean, a lot of these district courts are just complete fucking freestyles. That's it. So you have the right to be informed of the nature and cause of the crime. And that's going to allow you to know which venue that you're in so you can operate accordingly. So you have the right to specifically reserve any and all of your rights. You have the right to remain silent, to stand mute, Fifth Amendment. You have the right to say what you want and to be heard. That's the First Amendment. And you have the right to represent yourself. Pro se, I wouldn't do. Propia persona, proper person, do that. So you have the right to object to any statement by the judge and or prosecutor, especially if what the fuck that they're saying is hearsay and they're not a first-hand witness to it. They shouldn't even be speaking on any of that shit, to be honest with you. So, you know, and that's why you make them just say any of this bullshit statements that they want to say. So, yeah, I mean, they can say whatever they want. Put it on paper under the penalty of perjury, and that's how we're going to be fucking communicating. Because otherwise, why the fuck would I just let you speak? For what? I didn't want to hear you to begin with, but if you're going to speak, it's going to be under the penalty. You know what I mean? So you have the right to recuse and dismiss the judge. And you have the right to call witnesses to assist your defense. And that's the Sixth Amendment. So that's the end of these slides for today. I'm going to get into the rest of these tomorrow. So it is a game of chess. Stop playing checkers with these clowns. That's what I got for you for now. Until we meet again.